What are you looking at that like that for, as if I didn't know?
Well, I was just wondering...
Well, you can stop wondering and put it back.
Well, if you must know, I was wondering how it come up there in the first place. You won't catch anybody round here drinking that stuff.
Well, I'd better not catch them, nor you neither. If you really want... Have you really forgotten where it came from?
Well, I have it at the back of my mind that there was something unusual about it.
Jack Walker, you've got a memory like a sieve. Just to put you right, Concepta brought me this back from one of her trips.
Well, it's doing no good up there.
It's doing no good, but it's doing no harm neither. And if you really want to know, I'm saving it for the time when Concepta gets married.
Oh, I see. And at the rate you're moving, that won't be so long neither.
I'm sure I don't know what you mean.
Jack, evening, Annie.
Hello, Harry.
Hey, talk of the devil, eh, Harry?
What's all this about, then?
Just a private joke. What'll you have, Harry?
Well, as if you didn't know. The usual, please, look.
Now, come along, dear. Mustn't keep the customers waiting.
You seen that car outside Mr. Tetlock's?
Hey, car, eh? No, I can't say I have. I usually pop my head outside, you know, when I open up. So he's got visitors, has he,
Aye,
eh?
VIPs by the look of it. Got Corporation crest on the car, you know.
Oh, has it now?
Yeah.
You know what that'll be, don't you?
Oh, demolition business.
Aye, that's what it'll be, all right. Well, that will get things sorted out now, and not before time, neither.
I would hope so, Jack.
Go away. Dennis! Oh, I'm sorry to keep you waiting, Mr. Tatlock. I didn't know it was you. Come in. Go through, will you?
Thank you very much. We shan't be stopping more than a minute or two. This is Mr. Harper from the Borough Surveyor's office.
Oh, how do you do? Sit you down, will you? You'll excuse me not shaking hands, but I've just been doing my nails to it tongue.
I thought it was rather pleasant, really.
Really? You won't have come about the drains, will you?
No, he's come about this business of the street being pulled down.
Oh, Mr. Tatlock, isn't it awful? What are we going to do?
Now, don't you worry yourself, Mrs. Tanner. What Mr. Tatlock really means is that I've come to say the street certainly isn't being pulled down.
Isn't it? Not really?
Most certainly not.
Well, that's a relief, I must say. I can't tell you what we've been through. We've hardly had any sleep at night, have we, Mr. Tatlock?
No, it were very upsetting all round.
I'm sure it must have been. But I do assure you that we ourselves, not forgetting your own councillors, have been most concerned. What we really can't understand is how the idea came about in the first place. And that's where you might be able to help us.
Me? Now, look, if you're suggesting I had anything to do with this, you're very sadly mistaken.
No, Elsie. Mr. Harper's not suggesting anything of the kind. All he wants to do is to find out who started it, to make sure that it doesn't happen again. Isn't that right, Mr. Harper?
Precisely. The trouble must have started somewhere.
Well, it didn't start here.
Now, look, Elsie, can you remember who did tell you first in the street?
Now, let me see. I can see the face as plain as anything, but I just can't put a name to it, if you know what I mean. No, it's no good, Mr. Tatlock. I've got a stoppage on. Perhaps I could ask our dentist. That might help.
Yeah, well, you never know, it might.
Dennis, Mr. Tatlock would like to speak to you. He's in show business, you know.
Oh, you mean the theatre?
Well, sort of, yes. Dennis, this is Mr. Harper. He's come from the council about the street being pulled down.
Oh, is he? I'm glad to hear it. I thought it were only a rumour.
It is only a rumour, you daft thing. He wants to know how it started.
Well, how should I know? You what told me.
Oh, fat lot of help you'll get from him. I'm very sorry, Mr. Tatlock. You'll have to go and look elsewhere.
Ah, well, it doesn't matter. We knew we'd have a bit of bother sorting it out, didn't we, Mr. Harper?
I'm afraid so. Well, thank you for your help, Mrs. Tanner.
Oh, that's all right. Oh, if I were you, I'd go and look in the Rovers right now. You'll probably find one or two of them in there.
Oh, don't worry. We shall get round there eventually. Well, good night, Mrs.
Good night.
No, don't bother. We can let ourselves out.
Oh.
Thank you.
Good night. Good night.
I noticed nobody thanked me.
Well, what do you expect coming out with a daft remark like that?
Are you off out tonight?
Are you kidding? Do you know how much the last little outing cost me?
It was your own fault. I never told you to won a fortune.
£5 it cost me. Be quite some time before our health is back in circulation again.
Well, hard luck.
How much sympathy I get from you, don't I?
You don't deserve any. You'd better have this instead.
£4? But what's that for?
You're sure of the divvy. What do you think it's for?
But you said it'd only be 30 bob.
Well, we're a bit luckier than we thought. I'll have it back if you don't want it.
Hecky thumb.
And don't spend it all at once, mind.
Come here.
Go bed low.
Now look what you've done to me, eh?
Oh.
Finished the washing up already, then?
Finished? I haven't even started yet. And if you think you're getting out of drying, you're mistaken. And after we've finished this, we've got this carpet to vacuum.
It's bedtime before we've finished at this rate.
I say, that button's taking some time, isn't it?
Well, you must know I'm making a proper job of it. Besides, it's giving me indigestion time to settle.
What do you mean, indigestion? You wouldn't say that to your mother.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't have to, would I?
Well, if we can't manage without your mother for a couple of days, it's a poor lookout. And don't you go complaining to her either when she comes back. She's got enough to worry about, you know, with your gran being ill, without worrying about us.
Gran will get over it. She's a tough old bird, is Gran.
Yeah, she is tough, but she happens to be 78. You know, that's twice she's been taken about it in the last few weeks. I don't mind telling you, lad, I'm getting worried about this as well as your mother. Old people shouldn't have to live on their own at that age. It's a very worrying problem, and the sooner we all start to worry about it, the better it'll be. We shall all be old ourselves one of these days. I wonder who the heck that is.
Oh, well, I'll go. And, if I were you, I'd take that apron off.
Oh, there is. What? Is your father in?
Yes.
I've brought the gentleman to see him.
Oh, right.
No, it's not long.
It's Mr. Tatlock, Dad.
Oh. Hello, Mr. Tatlock. Oh, Frank, I've brought Mr. Harper from the Borough Surveyor's office along. He's come about that letter we wrote.
How do you do?
How do you do?
It's a question of the road being demolished, Mr. Barlow.
I was wondering when someone was going to turn up.
It's a pity we hadn't heard about it sooner.
Oh, it was just a rumour then?
Absolutely. If there'd been any question of demolition, you can rest assured we'd have given you a notification in good time.
And Mr. Harper's trying to find out where the rumour started, Frank. You've got a job on there, all right. I mean, it's one thing to have your suspicions, but, well, another's to be sure.
Actually, we're trying a process of elimination. Now, if you could tell us who you originally heard the rumour from...
Oh, that's easy. I mean, my wife Ida told me. Mind you, I can't say where she got it from, because, well, she's not at home at the moment, but...
Oh,
hey, can I make a nice cup of tea? No, that'd be very
no,
nice.
No, I really think we'd better be getting along, Mr. Barlow. Thank you very much all the same.
No, I suppose we'd better get it done with. Well, I'll tell you what, pop back later, Mr. Tatlock. We'll have a little celebration of our own, eh? I don't. We'll open it in the salmon, eh? All right. Ta-ra, Frank. Ta-ra.
Well, they can say what they like. Chasing things is a whippet's nature. Mind you, I did hear of an animal clinic once that used to take them in after they'd finished on the tracks in order to train them not to.
Oh, what was the point of that?
Well, so they could pass them on as household pets without them killing all the cats in the neighbourhood,
Oh,
you know.
I see.
Mind you, they've got a heck of a job on. Whippet is a whippet, and that's all there is to it.
Are you still talking about whippets, Mr. Hughes?
Well, now, I can't think of anything better to talk about over a pint, can you, Jack?
Well, speaking for myself, I'd always prefer something that looks a bit more like a dog, if you know what I mean.
What looks more like a dog than a whippet?
She means an Irish setter, Harry.
Ah, well, now you're talking.
Irish setter.
And what's wrong with Irish setters?
Now, leave the lad alone, Concept. Just stop pulling his leg. It's a serious subject, is whippets, eh, Harry?
You're dead right there, Jack.
Men.
Hello.
Hello, then. Usual?
Hi, hey, you going to a big dance on Friday night, Harry?
I was thinking about it, yeah.
Well, you have to think about it pretty fast, though. The tickets are practically sold.
Get away.
Hey, all that.
Ah, lovely, that. Cheers.
First of the then?
Just about. Hey, I've just come out of Florrie Lindley's. Oh, Mr. Tatlock were in there, you know, with a fella from Town Hall. I don't know. They were on about that demolition lark, you know, that what you were telling me about.
Yep.
It seems it were all a rumour.
There, now, didn't I always say it were?
Jack Walker, how you can say that with a straight face, I don't know. You were standing at this very bar and carrying on as if they were going to take the roof off the place that very minute.
Hey, Andy, I said no to kind.
Some people have got very convenient memories. Anyway, all's well that ends well.
All right, well, it'll put some people's minds at rest, mine included. I had a bit of trouble come up, you know, and that would have about put the tin hat on it.
Oh, what was that, Harry?
Well, it was...
Good evening, Mr. Tatlock. What can I get you?
Well, you might like this Heather to come on a bit of business like, but under the circumstances, I think a drop of rum would go down very
Rum
nice.
then, Jack. And what about your friend?
Oh, thank you very much indeed. A little whiskey, perhaps?
Whiskey, please, Jack.
This is Mr. Harper from the Borough Surveyor's office.
Oh, I'm pleased to meet you.
I think perhaps he'd like to ask you a few questions,
Yes,
Mrs.
of course,
Walker.
Mr. Harper. Can I come?
There's your one, Mr. Tatlock.
Gee, thanks. I'm not a drinking chap, as you know, but I can't remember whenever I wanted to drop more of this.
Ah, you look a bit off, if you don't mind me saying so.
You know, I think he's got me signed up for night, and it's a bit hard on the feet, and all.
Oh, would you like me to take over for you?
No, thanks very much for offering that, but we're nearly done now. We've just about got it whittled down, but I don't mind telling you he's a stittler, Yonis, believe me. Got Elsie Tanner's back up just now. She got the idea he was accusing her of starting.
Nay, Elsie's more sense than that.
Yes, of course she has. But mind you, he's determined to get to the bottom of it. They're taking a serious view of it up at Town Hall.
You don't think they'll prosecute when they find out who started it?
No, I don't think so. It's just that they want to get it done with once and for all.
Harry? Harry, could you come over here a minute? Mr. Harper would like to have a word with you.
Right, darling.
Hey, what's all this about?
Oh, this rumour about Street being pulled down.
You mean it's only a rumour?
Of course it's only a rumour.
Oh, more the pity Coronation Street would be no loss to anybody, would it?
Will you listen to him? I might tell you, my lad, that Coronation Street would be a big loss to a good many folks, me included.
Hey, come off it, Dad. You mean you'd rather stop here than have one of them places on the new estate?
There's more to life than gloss and glitter. Hey, Mr. Tatlock.
Ah, that's right, Jack. Only you'll never get the young'uns to think that. Not before their time, any road.
I'll bet you said the same as me when you were a lad.
When I were a lad, there were no new housing estates and washing machines and fridges and tellies and no fancy cars.
Yeah, only Coronation Street.
And I might tell you, my lad, we were damn glad to have 'em and all.
Here.
Yeah.
Well, it seems to me there's only Mrs. Sharples left, Mr. Harper.
Mrs. Sharples. Now, which one would that be?
It's not on this side of the road. It's across at the other corner, the Glad Tidings Mission.
Hi, Mrs. Sharples is the caretaker.
She lives there.
I see, yes. Well, perhaps I'd better go along and see Mrs. Sharples.
Well, she's usually in the snug by this time, but she doesn't appear to have arrived yet.
Mr. Tatlock, I wonder if I might presume on your help again. I'd like to see Mrs. Sharples.
I'll be right along with you, Mr. Harper.
Hey, somebody ought to warn him.
If I knew we were going there, I'd have had another one of these. I'll come back afterwards and tell you what goes on. Come on, Mr. Harper, it's just across the street. Thank you very much indeed.
Well, we might have known, eh?
Well, I think most of us did.
Ah, she should have her bottom smacked up. Stop setting folks like that.
Is that an offer?
All the same, I think it's wicked. I really do.
Hey, we better watch what we're saying. Our pals are in there.
And they won't miss much either.
They're whispering now. What do you bet me they're talking about Ina?
I expect they are and all.
I shall tell Ina what that Harry Hewitt said.
Oh, I shouldn't do that. You know what Ina's like. Do you think we ought to go and warn her?
Oh, it's too late for that now. We shall just have to wait and see what happens. But there'll be sparks flying tonight before tonight's over. You mark my words.
Tell me the old, old story. Tell me the old story. You'll have to wait. Oh, Jesus and his love. What is it?
This gentleman's from the Borough Surveyor's office, Mrs. Sharples.
Oh, he is he? Have you come about big gas?
Well, no, not exactly.
I thought not, but they do send somebody around. It's usually about somewhat unimportant.
Well, Mrs. Sharples, I don't think it's in your interest that we should talk about this in the street.
If you're suggesting that I've got anything to add, Mr. Tatlock, I'll thank you to keep your suggestions to yourself. You better come in, then.
It's a nice little place you've got here.
Oh, it's a nice little place, is it? Well, if you think it's a nice little place, you want to try living in it, that's all I can say. Should have been pulled down for scrap years ago, and that Leonard Swindley with it.
Oh, it's something in that line of business that Mr. Harper has come about. This thing about pulling down Coronation Street, to get it right.
Oh, so you've come about that, have you? What makes you think it concerns me?
Oh, my dear madam.
Now, don't you come madam in me. I know which side my bread's buttered on if nobody else does. And I don't mind telling you, this business of demolition, as you call it, doesn't matter to me one little bit.
Oh, how do you make that out?
There's money in this street, you know, on this side anyway. You all know what's on t'other. But if you think they'd let them pull down a place like this factory that's worth thousands if it's worth a penny, you've got another think coming.
Mrs. Sharples, I'm afraid you're under a misapprehension.
I'm under my own roof, that's all I'm under, and that's where I'm stopping.
And that's precisely what we've come to tell you. There's no question of Coronation Street being demolished.
Who do you think you're kidding?
No, it's only a rumour, Mrs. Sharples.
A rumour? Are you trying to tell me it's a rumour when I saw it with my own eyes on a board in the town hall? Notices of demolition. All those houses on the northeast side of Coronation Street.
Ah, Mr. Tatlock, I think I know how this has come about. There is indeed a notice, but the street in question is Coronation Terrace, quite some distance away. I don't think we need to look any further, do you? I can safely say we put an end to that rumour.
Well, Mrs. Sharples was very silly, but as far as I'm concerned, it's over and done with. I just hope there'll be no unpleasantness when she comes in.
Well, I think this calls for drinks on the house, eh, Annie?
I certainly think these two gentlemen require
Yes,
a drink
what
after
do
all
they
the
do?
trouble they've taken.
Oh, thank you very much. That's
There's your
extremely
Mr.
kind.
Petlock.
Thanks, that'll do me nicely. You know, she's rather a difficult woman, Mrs. Sharples, don't you
Well,
think?
never said that said about it, but I can see what you mean.
Rather aggressive, I thought.
Ah, well, good health. It's not every time we get somebody up from town hall, you know.
Well, I won't say that I've enjoyed it, but it has been interesting.
We greatly appreciate what you've done for us.
We're doing
Not
this.
at all. We don't like people to be troubled without cause. I must say, on my last call, if it hadn't been for Mr. Tatlock here...
Good on.
Did you play that, Mr. Harper? Well, I'm afraid I'm not much good, but I must say I would like a game if you can bear it.
One here for the team, eh, Harry?
Oh, that's a good idea, Mr. Harper. Give Len a game. You'll run rings round him.
I'll give you round the ball if you like.
Right, come on, Mr. Tatlock. Tell us all the news.
Oh, Harry, you sound a right old gossip.
Well, get away, Annie. You know you're busting your head all about it yourself.
Well, you see, it was like this. Ina went down to town hall a little while since, and when she was there, she saw a notice. And on this notice, it said something about some houses to be demolished in Coronation Terrace. She got it wrong. She hadn't read it right, you see. What, do you mean to tell me it's only a rumour, she said? Do you think I can't believe my own eyes?
That's how somebody told her to get her glasses.
If I had my way, I'd sack the lot of them. Deceiving the public, that's what they are.
Oh, are you right, Tina?
Right? Of course I'm right. It's the iron hand of democracy down at that town hall that's plaguing the likes of us.
There were a bit about it in the paper last week.
Yes, I could tell the paper something and all. You're not safe in your own backing these days. But they're not going to do me down, you know. They think they've got it all cut and dried down there, but they've got another thing coming. I know my rights.
Oh, I were only saying to Minnie just now. I said, if anyone knows their rights, I said, it's Ina, I said.
Small print.
Eh?
I said small print, that's how they do it on you. Oh, they're a crafty lot down there. They know they've got to put these notices up, and they get round it by putting in such small print that nobody can read it proper. I tell you without a word of a lie, if I read that notice once, I read it 20 times.
What notice?
What do you mean, what notice? Are you listening, Martha Longhurst? Because if it's too much trouble for you to listen to the complaints of a poor old friend of yours, it's time you took your hook. And we want 3 milk stouts in here if it's not too much trouble. The notice I'm referring to is the notice about the pulling down of Coronation Terrace, so they say. But I've seen them fellas coming round before, you know. That's what their job is, to put the people off. Well, all I can say is it's coming to a pretty pass when they send those great big bullies down to stop defenceless women from speaking their own minds.
Oh, it's a right shame, Ina.
And it's about time you started to talk about it for yourselves, too. Don't see why I should do all the talking. And what's been going on in here while I've been out? Oh, you've no need to tell me. I know very well what's been said, and who said it. Here, what's all this?
The 3 milk stouts.
Who told you to bring these in here?
That's what you asked for, ain't it?
Well, I asked for 3 milk stouts, but I requested no service because I know from past experience there is no service in this room.
There you go, Ma. I'm better able to carry it than you are. You rest your legs.
Oh, I'm not as old as all that, you know.
I never said you were. Anyway, it's a gentleman's privilege, isn't it?
Well, the trouble about that is the shortage of gentlemen. You know you won't get a tip from me, don't you?
Well, I should hope not.
Can't be that, then. Ah. Right. Right. Thank you very much.
Don't mention it.
You know, he's a nice lad, that is, you know. They can talk about the younger generation as they like. He's a nice lad, is that?
Two milkshakes, please, Mrs. Snape.
Strawberry?
Strawberry, raspberry, it's all the same to me. What about you, Sheila?
Oh, I'll have what you have.
Hey, did you see Alice Atkins' new chap down at the Pally last night? Oh, I think he's marvellous. What's him? Well, I turned him down 6 months ago. Oh, I think he's delightful. Them sideburns send me. Hey, have you seen who's at the corner table? The lovebirds.
What you looking like that for?
That lot at the counter, they make me sick.
Ah, they're all right. I bet you were like that when you were their age.
Anybody think I was sporty to hear you gone? You know you have a very funny opinion of me sometimes, Joe Meckison.
Why'd you say that?
Because it's true.
You know very well what I think about you. Anyhow, I've got something to tell you, no? When you're ready...
Oh, go on then, tell me.
Well, I've been looking at shops.
Oh?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that must have been exciting for you.
Yeah.
Did you see anything you was particularly interested in?
Yeah, I saw lots of things I was interested in, actually. Lots of things.
Such as what?
Such as rings.
What sort of rings?
Engagement rings.
Thinking of getting engaged then?
Well, yeah, more or less.
Well, are you or aren't you?
I am.
I might ask who too.
Oh, come off it, Chris. You know very well who too.
Suppose this is a proposal then, is it?
Yeah, I guess it is. Yes, I suppose it is.
It doesn't sound much like a proposal to me.
Well, it's best I can do.
Well, I mean, when a chap proposes to a girl, he usually does more than tell her.
Come on, let's get out of here.
I'm finishing my coffee, if you don't mind. If you must propose in a place like this, you'll have to put up with the consequences. When was you thinking of them?
Well, I thought Easter might be as good a time as any. Will you?
Well, I think we'd better sleep on it, don't you?
Finish my coffee.
Well, I haven't finished mine, so you have to wait, see. Did you hear what I heard?
Oh, I know what I'd do if it were me. I should swallow him whole.
Ooh, I'll tell Billy Walker what you said.
Billy? Oh, he wouldn't mind. That's the trouble with men. You like some for one thing and some for another. It's very difficult to choose.
Quiet tonight, isn't it, Mrs. Snape?
Oh, it's not often it's as quiet as this, I can tell you. Bernard, that's my husband, keeps on at me to get some help, but it's very difficult these days, you know.
I don't think I've seen your husband, have I?
I shouldn't be surprised, he's on the road most of the time.
On the road?
He travels, fancy goods and ladies. Of course, I did think I might get somebody in part-time, but it's finding the right person, isn't it? I'm all right for Saturdays. It's Mondays and Wednesdays I'm needed most.
Hey, what about me? I'm all right for Mondays and Wednesdays.
Hey, what about my Pally?
The Pally won't run away. If you must know, I'm saving for one of them 5 capital tours. A little bit on the side would do me very nicely.
What do you want to go on one of them for?
Why not? Travel broadens the mind. Hey, what about it, Mrs. Snape? Am I on?
Aye.
Have you seen them semis down at Park?
I know, but they cost over 2,000 quid.
Well, we could get a mortgage over 20 years. Do you know that?
20 years on your wage, are you kidding?
Look, I've worked it all out. Look, with both of us working, you and me, like, we'd manage all right, and then a bit later on, we'd be able to run to a car.
So I'm to go on working for 20 years?
Well, why not? You don't want to stop cooped up in the house all day, do you?
I know, but what if we started a family?
Oh, we wouldn't have to, would we? I mean, well, you know, we can think about that later on, can't we?
Yeah, after 20 years, when the mortgage is paid off.
Oh, no, I don't mean that, but I mean, well, we want a bit of fun out of life, don't we? I mean, well, kids is all right, but once you've had them, you've had it as far as I can see.
Oh, well, it looks as if you've got a bit of a problem here, doesn't it, Harry?
Oh, you're right, Jack.
Annie, come here a minute, will you? You don't mind Annie knowing, I suppose?
No, of course not. No.
It's Harry's sister. She wants to come and stop with him.
Ah, she's chucked a job up, you see. Or at least the job's chucked her up. She was housekeeper for one of the bosses up at Staunton's Engineers, you know. Well, the trouble is he's died, and now she's got nowhere to go. And, so we'll let Annie read the letter, Jack. And who's the bloke Conceptor's talking to?
No, I couldn't tell you his name. He's been in here once or twice lately. She's going to this dance with him on Friday, so Annie tells me.
Oh, it's like that, is it?
What's this sister of yours like, Harry?
Alice? Oh, she's a bit bossy, you know. Used to managing people, but she's a good lass for all that.
Suppose you wanted to get married, Harry.
I've thought of that.
Of course, there is one thing. You could have Lucille back.
Aye, well, that's where it is, you see. I'd like to help Alice, but it would be a bit awkward. Then I think about Lucille, and I can just see her face, you know. But
So can I. Some of these homes are very nice, but I always say there's no substitute for your own.
Aye, you're dead right there, Annie.
Well, it's your problem, Harry, isn't it? Nobody can make your mind up for you.
Sure enough. Thanks, anyway. You know, it helps to talk about it.
Well, let us know how you go.
Oh, I will, yeah.
Well, I will say this, and Annie knows what I mean. We aren't getting puffed up about it. No home is a real home without a woman in it.
You don't have to tell me that, Jack. You don't.